the custom machine translation as a service is basically the cloud-based solution, the likes of which KantanMT offers. And that's really brings a number of benefits. First is basically the first is anytime, anywhere, any device. So custom machine translation, obviously 24/7 access in the cloud, and can be used on any device, whether it's an iPad or a phone or whatever. In addition, custom machine translation in the cloud basically enables you to do more translation, faster translation, and mostly at a lower cost, we would say. So more faster for less is really, I suppose, the theme of this presentation. And what I'm going to do is take you through some different applications for CMT as a service, and to show you how it can really directly impact the bottom line. So the first four here are auto-useable translation, which allows you to translate content and then post it directly to the web. The second is faster translation, which enables companies to get to the market faster. More translation with more content, more sales. So, basically you can now translate content which previously wouldn't be commercially viable to translate. And then finally, more languages obviously means access to more markets. But that's not all. In addition, I'll just show you an example of how custom machine translation can reduce returns, and that drops straight to the bottom line. How it can improve communication internally, improve services, improve customer service, results in a higher productivity, which again reduces costs, drops straight to the bottom line, and how it can be used for what we call preferred language sales to deliver better results. So the first one really is probably our most exciting application of custom machine translation, which is auto-useable translation. This is an example of, from a client, a tier 1 e-commerce application. They translate billions of words, 1.8 billion words, which is published directly to the web. The other thing about this content specifically is that it's user-generated content. So in this case, the users are merchants, and they obviously have a variety of broad range of products and so on, and there is no control over how they post those products to the web. So it's essential really that the translation is as automated as possible. So the process that's established with this particular client is a series of engine building, customization, and then LQR, which is language quality review, and engine retraining. And what they were able to do was to save 500,000 post-editing days in this process. So really, there was really quite extraordinary savings made, and in fact, as I said before, it wouldn't really be commercially viable to translate that volume of words otherwise. The next application is just showing a quick example of speed to market. So faster translation, we were challenged with 300,000 words to be translated into three languages, and it needed to be completed in a very fast pace, very quick lead time. So the whole project was completed in 28 days. The first two languages were completed in 15 days. The result was an increase in post-editing productivity, because this content was post-edited, of between 30 and 60%. And the reason it's between 30 and 60% is because it depended a bit on the language. So one of the languages, I think, was Danish, which is quite a difficult language. The result was that sales were kicked off in 5 markets in 43 days. So, in terms of speed to market, This was really a very good example of how insanely fast good custom machine translation can deliver. So the next application then is a bit similar to the e-commerce application. So this one looks at, well, a back catalog, an asset, which is an asset for the company, but underdeveloped. So this particular back catalog had 20,000 SKUs, an average value of €70, and an average gross margin of 40%, and comprised 4 million words. So across 12 months, this was translated into 15 languages and gave the company an exposure to an extra 350 million customers. So they were able to capture 15% of their sales in the first year, 15% of the catalog sold in the first year, or products sold in the first year. So they're able to recover their investment within 12 months. So that's a kind of back catalog application, back catalog translation application that can really deliver to the bottom line. Next, this is just a broad example really of machine translation that can now potentially translate into a really large volume of language pairs. So in our case, we have 760 language pairs, so there's obviously more languages available. It includes double byte languages and some of the long tail languages, as well as regional languages. And of course, we can build engines to be bidirectional. So just looking at this graph here, with these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 markets, which are forecasted to grow from 2015 up to 2030 in terms of the average level of income per household. That's 3 billion people. So that's just obviously an example of how the world is changing, and that companies need to reach out to these growing markets in the future. Okay, so the next application is the technology that's employed to help, again, it's an e-commerce example, but to help e-commerce companies cut down on the level of returns that they have in their business. So the average, e-commerce returns, the rate of returns from e-commerce sales ranges from very low, 0.2%, up to very high, 30%. This is an example rather than a particular case study. So if you assume that a particular site has 100 million in sales and a 10% return rate, that's 10 million euro in lost revenue, plus they have the additional handling costs. So returns are something very much that e-commerce companies really not try to reduce as much as possible. So the technology is developed now so that it's cheaper to translate more content, so more descriptive content can be translated into more languages. So that in itself reduces buyer confusion and the potential for errors. But also we have technology, what we like NER technology, which is named entity recognition technology, which allows us to localize weights, sizes, and measures, which are very important. So you can localize feet and inches to meters and centimeters and so on. And you can do that automatically. So very simply, a 10% reduction in the level of returns would capture 1 million in revenue and save the associated costs with handling those returns. So, it's a very, very clear example of, again, how custom machine translation can help improve the bottom line, I think. The next one, obviously, is just, I suppose, a standard productivity improving application. Indeed, against human translation, it's a little bit ridiculous, I suppose, in the sense that in the real world you simply wouldn't be able to achieve this level of translation productivity with human translators, but it is a genuine case from KantanMT. We translated 135 million words in 24 hours. And just to give you a ridiculous comparison, it's 54,000 translator days or 18,000 human translator days in 8 hours. So, you know, work it out, it's a massive saving. The next one really is a way to, I suppose, improve customer service. And this one relates to a call service application, a call center application. This particular one is a 365-day call center handling on average 500 calls per day. And by improving their online self-service, by providing it in the preferred language of their customers, we would hope to divert a number of calls from the call center. So with an average of 500 calls per day and the average cost per call of €20, simply by providing improved and preferred language, self-service and maybe instant chat, it's possible to divert a range of calls from the call center and save money in that way. So a diversion of just 15% in this case of calls, 27,000 calls per annum, would result in a saving straight to the bottom line of €540,000 per annum. So that is another really powerful application for custom machine translation. Finally, and I think it is finally, we have an opportunity or an application here where, in the case of B2B sales, you might have a company that needs to quickly evaluate a bid or no bid situation in the bids and tenders process. So very often companies such as global consulting firms specialize in a number of specific industry verticals, such as, you know, financial services, banking or insurance or healthcare or whatever. And operating in a multinational environment, they're often exposed to requests for proposals from clients in different languages. So the ability to quickly translate, even to the point of getting a gisting translation, enables them to make quicker go or no-go decisions and save time. Also, very often they have a standard initial sales proposal which just needs minor updating. So, you know, if they have their own internal custom machine translation engines which are customized to their particular business and indeed their industry, it allows them to make changes very quickly to translated sales proposals and so on. So in this particular case, global consulting firm working in 3 or 4 specific industry verticals, this enables them to translate RFP docs into 6 other languages, exposing them to €200 million worth of business, with the ability to react very quickly from a sales perspective. So that is the sum total of the number of applications that I want to talk to you about today and present today. I hope that it has helped you to understand the way that custom machine translation really is a very powerful, very scalable, very high volume, and indeed can be an automated application. So if I can hand over now to any questions that anybody might have, I think you can include them in the chat box, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. Hi, I'm Polly. I'm from the marketing team over here. And thanks, Brian, once again for a great presentation. And so this gives us a lot of time for questions. So any questions that you have, please go ahead and send it in the question chat menu on the right-hand side of your screen. Or you can send it to us on Twitter through hashtag KantanWebinar, K-A-N-T-A-N webinar. Thank you so much. And we already have a few questions which were sent by mail before to us. So Ryan, I'll kick this off with the first question to you.
Okay.
You were speaking about fully automated usable translation. I'd like to know, so is the process for building this engine any different from, you know, MT with post editing?
Sure. Okay. Well, I suppose the first and most important issue with fully automated machine translation is not to be mean or skimp on the number of engines that you use. So very often you could use and build a customized engine to service one particular element of content, be it titles or bullet points, and you could customize a second engine maybe to build, or sorry, to translate product descriptions. So in that way, first of all, you get a much more, I suppose, well-tuned engine, which should result in more accurate translation. Secondly, I think in the case of this particular client, they undertook quite a number of language quality review stages. So normally our clients would undertake maybe 2 stages of language quality review. In this case, I think they undertook 4 stages of language quality review, with the final stage being a kind of an acid test stage, which was, would this translation encourage you to buy this product, which is kind of an unusual test. But that's the kind of I suppose process change that was implemented for that particular application, and in that way it enables really good quality, fully automated, usable translation that can then be rendered directly to the web.
Thanks, Brian. Actually, we have another question which you have answered before, but I probably, since we have a different audience, you could talk about this again. So this question, the question goes: we are a mid-sized LSP, and we would like to know what benefits we can enjoy if we choose to work with KantanMT engines. I understand, we're not talking about LSP today, but is this something you'd like to touch upon?
Sure.
They are asking if they want to build, engines from scratch, how is that any cheaper or any better than building engines? Getting the engines from us.
Okay. Well, I suppose so. What you're asking is the difference between build it yourself or subscribe to a platform like KantanMT. Well, I suppose the first issue is that KantanMT has been designed to be very, very user friendly, very, very easy to use, very quick to customize and build engines, and it's also very reliable. It would be a reliable and secure platform. It's built to a level of tier 1 application, e-commerce application. So it's got always on 99.999% reliability, and so on and so forth. So that might be difficult to achieve with an internal build. And also KantanMT is immensely scalable. So with that, we have about 700 servers in operation at the moment. So to get that level of scalability on a kind of a build your own solution might be a little bit difficult. So I suppose those would be some of the key issues.
Right. So even if it's a big enterprise, getting the engines from us would be more feasible. And the last question is a bit technical, I suppose. It's a question about node technology and how this really helps in e-commerce. And does probably Luis, our technical manager, can help with this. Node technology and how e-commerce is really helped. How does e-commerce gain from node technology?
Well, the benefits of nanotechnology are quite diverse, and it can be used in a number of different ways. I suppose for e-commerce clients, the main way that this is used is in the conversion of measurements and weights and things like that. So, for example, if you have a UK English site and you want to introduce it into the European markets, well, the possibility of having a lot of measurements in imperial, in inches and feet and pounds and ounces is quite likely. So normally what we would do is we would pay a translator to sit with their calculator, work out the conversions and insert it correctly. But with nanotechnology, that's all done automatically. So we have created custom pieces of code that will take a measurement and automatically translate it into the metric amount or whatever measurement you're using with the correct number of decimal places in the format that you expect it, and it will automatically do this without any necessary intervention from the post editor. It's also extremely flexible, as I mentioned, that you can change the formatting of this and you can customize it to different measurements that you might come across in your business. The second implementation of NAIR that we've also found is really useful is in recognizing part numbers. For some of our e-commerce clients, this is a huge part of translation, and obviously if you have a large database of different types of components and they're all identified by a part number, you cannot risk having that part number translated. In some worst cases, or in some minor cases, having a space inserted, or perhaps some of the punctuation in the part number is slightly changed in translation, it would be a big no-no, because you can't, of course, your consumers then can't search your site. So with NAIR technology, we automatically identify these part numbers based on patterns in regular expressions and insert them correctly back into the text, almost by protecting them from translation. So that's two of the main ways we've seen e-commerce using NAIR technology.
Great, thanks, Vince. We have a new question from Rasa. The question goes, what about investment costs? Could you present something like a pricing scheme for the implementation of one engine or a set of engines for one project, maybe referring to your samples?
Well, we don't. I'm not going to issue pricing now over the webinar, Reza. But I know that you have been in touch with me before and are currently in touch, and I will promise to get something to you later this afternoon, if that's okay, right away, just after the webinar, if that's okay, because that's something that I've been working on for your particular application. But in terms of investment costs, let me just say this. You know, the whole idea behind KantanMT and indeed software as a service is that we minimize upfront investment. So you know, all of the building and deployment costs for the solution have been carried by us, and as a result, clients just pay a monthly subscription fee. So, you know, you don't pay for expensive infrastructure, you don't pay for servers, you don't pay for building a solution yourselves. That is all taken care of and included in the monthly subscription, as are, you know, maintenance fees and product upgrade fees and so on. So if I could come back to you, Raisa, on that, I shall do so. Okay.
If there are any more questions, we'll probably wait for a few minutes before signing out. And there is also a handout. We have created a brand new white paper on e-commerce, and they have a lot of industry insights into what's going to be good in machine translation in 2016. So please feel free to have a read. And again, if you have any questions, Ryan is here and he'll answer your questions.
Okay. Okay, folks. So if that's everything from your side, I want to thank you very much indeed for attending the webinar, and also just to say that there is a recording of the webinar available. And we will send you out, you know, a link for that, so you can have a review of the webinar if you would like to. So once again, thank you very much for attending, and I hope that we've given you some food for thought, and hopefully we look forward to engaging with you in the future again. Thank you very much indeed.